I woke up in the ICU with tubes down my throat and a social worker sitting beside my bed. The doctor said if I'd waited another 6 hours, my kidneys would have killed me. My mother had been counting on it. I know that sounds impossible. What kind of mother would let her daughter die? But when I tell you what my life was worth to my family, you'll understand. Exactly $4,200. That's how much my brother needed for his honeymoon to Bora Bora. And that's how much my mother saved by canceling my dialysis appointments. Let me take you back 3 weeks. To the day I found out I was already dead to my family. I just hadn't stopped breathing yet. My name is Maya. I'm 26 years old and I've been on dialysis 3 times a week for the past 4 years. If you don't know what dialysis is, let me paint you a picture. 3 times a week I sit in a chair for 4 hours while a machine does the job my kidneys can't. They stick 2 needles into the access port in my arm, one to pull blood out, one to put it back in. The machine filters out the toxins that would kill me if they stayed in my body. It's exhausting. It's painful. And it's the only reason I'm alive. I was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease when I was 22. I was in my junior year of college, studying to be a teacher. I started feeling tired all the time. Then I couldn't keep food down. Then I woke up one morning and couldn't breathe. My roommate called 911. By the time I got to the hospital, my kidneys were operating at 11%. The doctors said I'd need dialysis for the rest of my life, unless I could get a transplant. The waiting list was 5 to 7 years. That diagnosis changed everything. I had to drop out of school. I moved back home with my mom because I couldn't work full-time anymore. The medical bills destroyed any chance I had at independence. I went on disability, $841 a month. My mom said she'd manage it to help with household costs. I lost my friends. I lost my future. I lost my freedom. And my family? They lost their patience with me. You need to understand the dynamic in my family to understand what happened next. My brother Derek is 30 years old. He's a sales manager, makes good money, drives a nice car. He's what my mom calls her pride and joy. Growing up, Derek could do no wrong. He got the new bike, the college fund, the praise at every family dinner. I got hand-me-downs and we'll see. I remember my 16th birthday. My mom forgot about it completely because Derek had a baseball tournament 3 hours away. She didn't even call. But after my diagnosis, the neglect turned into resentment. My mom would say things like, "Do you know how much your medications cost?" Or, "Your brother never caused us this much trouble." She took control of my disability payments. She said it was to help with rent and food. I never saw a breakdown of where the money actually went. My dialysis schedule controlled my entire life. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. I couldn't make plans. I couldn't travel. Dating was impossible. Who wants to date someone who's hooked up to a machine 3 times a week? I was isolated, exhausted, dependent. The only person who ever made me feel like I mattered was my grandmother. My dad's mom, Grandma Rose. She visited me at dialysis every single week. She'd bring crossword puzzles and sit with me for all 4 hours. She'd tell me stories about the family farm where she grew up. She made me feel human. Grandma Rose passed away 8 months ago. Before she died, she told me something I didn't understand at the time. She squeezed my hand and said, "Stay strong, sweetheart. Everything I have will make sure you're taken care of. I promise." She left behind a substantial estate. A 200-acre farm worth about $800,000. Investment accounts worth another $400,000. The family home. But the will hadn't been read yet. My mom kept saying the lawyer was still processing it. Looking back, I realized she was stalling. 6 months ago, Derek got engaged to a woman named Brittany. She's 28, wants to be an influencer, and has very expensive taste. They set a wedding date for October, 2 months away from when this story really begins. My mom was obsessed with the wedding. This was her moment. Her golden child was getting married, and she was going to make sure it was perfect. My role, I was expected to help, to contribute, to show up to dress fittings even when they conflicted with my dialysis schedule. Brittany wanted a honeymoon in Bora Bora. The package she found cost $12,000. Derek told her they couldn't afford it. That's when my mom got involved. 3 weeks before I ended up in the ICU, I went to my regular dialysis appointment on a Monday afternoon, August 14th, 2 p.m. I checked in at the front desk and the receptionist looked confused. "Maya, you're not on the schedule today. Your appointment was canceled." I felt my stomach drop. "I didn't cancel it." She checked her computer. "It says here your guardian called and moved it to Thursday." My mom was still my legal guardian. When I first got diagnosed, I was so sick I couldn't make my own medical decisions. The guardianship was supposed to be temporary, but my mom never filed the paperwork to end it. I called her at work. "Mom, the dialysis center said you canceled my appointment?" "Oh, I meant to tell you." Her voice was casual, annoyed that I was bothering her. They called to confirm, and I moved it to Thursday. "I need you to watch the house while I take Derek and Brittany to the venue for cake tasting." "Mom, I can't just skip. It's 2 days, Maya. You'll be fine." "I have to go." She hung up. I should have seen the warning signs. She'd been rescheduling my appointments for weeks. But I convinced myself it was just poor planning, miscommunication. I didn't realize she was testing how far she could push it. By Wednesday, I was starting to feel off, nauseous, exhausted. My ankles were swollen. I texted my mom, "I feel really sick. Can you take me to dialysis tomorrow?" She responded 3 hours later. "You're fine. You're always complaining. We'll go Monday." I stared at that text for a long time. I couldn't drive myself. My medical restrictions and constant fatigue meant I'd lost my license 2 years ago. I was completely dependent on her for transportation. Thursday came and went. No dialysis. Friday morning, I woke up and couldn't keep water down. I checked my phone and opened the dialysis center's app. My Thursday appointment showed canceled by Guardian. She'd done it again. I dragged myself to the kitchen. My mom was sitting at the table, scrolling through her phone. There was a coffee stain on the counter. Derek's engagement photo on the fridge. I didn't have a single picture up in that house. "Mom," my voice was shaking. "I haven't had dialysis in 9 days. I'm supposed to go 3 times a week. I need to go today." She didn't look up from her phone. I canceled it. The refrigerator hummed. My heartbeat pounded in my ears. "What?" She finally looked at me. Her face was blank, like she was telling me she'd canceled a dentist appointment. "The sessions are $1,400 each after insurance. I canceled this week's appointments. We need that money." "Need it for what?" My hands were gripping the back of a chair. "Mom, I could die if I don't be dramatic." She went back to her phone. "You can go next week. Derek and Brittany need help with the honeymoon. Brittany's parents are paying for the wedding, but they can't afford Bora Bora. I'm not letting my son be embarrassed." The math hit me like a truck. 3 appointments, $1,400 each, $4,200. My life was worth less than a vacation I wasn't even invited to. "Mom, please, I'm really sick." "You're fine, Maya. You always do this when Derek's getting something good. Stop trying to make everything about you." I went back to my room and tried to call the dialysis center myself. They were closed on weekends except for emergencies. I called the emergency line. The nurse who answered sounded concerned. "You need to come in." "Can you get here?" "I don't have transportation." "Can you call 911 if you get worse?" I looked at my phone. It was at 15%. My mom had taken my charger the night before. I found out later that was intentional. "I'll try." Sunday night, Derek and Brittany came over for dinner. I stayed in my room. I was too sick to move. My chest felt tight. My face was swelling. I heard my mom talking to Derek in the hallway outside my door. "She's fine. She's just trying to get attention. You know how she gets when you're getting something good." Derek laughed. I closed my eyes and tried to breathe. Monday morning, August 21st, I woke up barely able to breathe. There was a crushing pain in my chest. My hands and face were so swollen I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. I was confused, disoriented. I stumbled to my mom's room. I need hospital. She was getting ready for work. She looked at me with irritation. I have to take Derek to pick up his tux. Can you wait until this afternoon? I tried to respond, but the room started spinning. I collapsed in the hallway. I don't remember what happened next. I found out later that our neighbor, Mrs. Kowalski, heard the fall through the wall. She had a key for emergencies. She's the one who called 911. The paramedics found me unconscious. My mom came home to an ambulance in the driveway. Her first words to the paramedics were, "Is this really necessary? She's done this before for attention." I regained consciousness in the ambulance. There was a mask over my face. A paramedic was checking my vitals. He leaned over me. "Maya, when was your last dialysis session?" 12 days ago. My voice was barely a whisper. My mom canceled my appointments. His face changed. He wrote something down. That note saved my life, and it would change everything. I woke up in the ICU with tubes down my throat. That's where we started this story. The social worker sitting next to my bed introduced herself as Linda Chen. She was 45, with a soft voice but something steel-hard in her eyes. "Maya, you're safe now, but I need to ask you some questions about your home situation." Over the next hour, I told her everything. She listened. She took notes. And then she said something I'll never forget. "I'm going to make some calls. No one's going to hurt you again." My blood work came back that afternoon. The doctor showed me the numbers. Potassium 7.2. Normal range is 3.5 to 5. Anything above 6 is dangerous. Above 7 can stop your heart. Creatinine 12.8. Dialysis patients are usually kept below 8. I had 15 pounds of fluid retention. My lungs were filling with water. My brain was swelling from the toxins. The doctor's notes in my chart said, "Patient presented in life-threatening condition due to missed dialysis. Guardian reported to have intentionally canceled treatments." That word, intentionally, was the key. Linda contacted Adult Protective Services. APS case number 2023-08-4471 was opened that day. The charges, medical neglect and financial exploitation. Linda pulled my records from the dialysis center. My mom had canceled 8 appointments over the past 6 weeks. The center had called her 4 times to warn her I needed treatment. She told them I wasn't feeling up to it. Linda connected me with an attorney named Sarah Kwan. She specialized in elder and dependent abuse cases. She took my case pro bono through the hospital's advocacy program. Sarah walked into my room 2 days after I was admitted. She set her briefcase on the table and looked me in the eye. "We're going to get you out of that guardianship, and we're going to make sure this never happens again." We built what I later called Operation Paper Trail. We requested copies of everything. Medical records showing the canceled appointments. Insurance statements showing the dialysis center charged cancellation fees my mom pocketed. Text messages between me and my mom, recovered from the cloud. And then Sarah subpoenaed my mom's bank records. That's when we found it. August 12th, 2 weeks before I ended up in the ICU. A Venmo transfer from my mom's account to someone named Brittany Chen. $4,200. The memo said, "Bora Bora, here we come." Sarah showed me the screenshot. I stared at it for a long time. My mom had sent my future sister-in-law the exact amount she'd saved by canceling my dialysis. While I was dying, she was funding a luxury vacation. "This is evidence of financial exploitation," Sarah said, "and motive for the medical neglect." I started crying. Not because I was surprised, but because now I had proof that I wasn't crazy, that this had really happened. I had people in my corner for the first time in years. Linda, the social worker, navigated the legal and social systems. Sarah built the case. And then there was Rachel. Rachel Morrison was my dialysis nurse. She'd been taking care of me for 3 years. She visited me in the hospital on her day off. She sat next to my bed and held my hand. "I knew something was wrong when your mom kept canceling. I tried to push back, but she's your guardian. I'm so sorry, Maya." Rachel had noted in my chart multiple times. Guardian cancel, patient unaware. She'd been trying to protect me, even when her hands were tied. She wrote a formal statement for APS detailing my mom's pattern of interference. On day 3, Thursday, August 24th, we had an emergency court hearing for temporary suspension of the guardianship. Sarah presented the medical records. The judge looked at my potassium levels and said, "This woman nearly killed her daughter." The guardianship was suspended immediately. Linda was appointed as my temporary guardian. My mom was banned from making any medical decisions for me. 2 days later, I had my first dialysis session in 15 days. Rachel was my nurse. "Welcome back. You scared us." As the machine hummed and the toxins filtered out of my blood, I felt the brain fog start to lift. I could breathe easier. The swelling started to go down, but more than the physical relief, I felt something else. Control. For the first time in 4 years, my mother couldn't cancel my treatment. She couldn't make decisions about my body. She couldn't gamble with my life. On day 6, Sunday, August 27th, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Derek. "Mom said you're trying to get her arrested? Over missing a few appointments? You're insane. You're ruining my wedding." I stared at the text. I didn't respond. I took a screenshot and sent it to Sarah. She replied immediately. "Keep doing that. Every message is evidence." The next day, my phone exploded. It was the family group chat. Family with a heart emoji. I'd been muted in it for months. My mom sent the first message at 10:23 a.m. "I hope everyone is happy. Because of Maya's lies, I've been put on administrative leave at work pending an investigation. APS showed up at my job. My job. I'm being treated like a criminal because I tried to help my son. Maya, I will never forgive you for this." Derek responded 8 minutes later. "How could you do this to Mom? After everything she sacrificed for you? You're so selfish." Then Brittany chimed in. "This is affecting our wedding. People are asking questions. Can you think about someone other than yourself for once?" I watched the messages come in. My hands were shaking. I typed out my response. "I was dying. Mom canceled my dialysis so you could have a nicer honeymoon. I was dying and none of you cared." Derek's response was instant. "Stop being dramatic. You're fine now." Something inside me snapped. My potassium was high enough to stop my heart. The doctor said I had hours, not days. Mom chose $4,200 over my life. There was a pause. Then my mom responded, "That money wasn't just sitting around. I manage your disability payments, your medical bills, everything. I was going to put it back." "You're making me sound like a monster." I couldn't believe what I was reading. "You told the paramedics I was faking for attention while I was unconscious on the floor." Linda helped me screenshot the entire conversation. Sarah added it to the evidence file. I left the group chat. I blocked all of them. That evening, my mom left me a voicemail. I listened to it once, just once. "You've destroyed this family. I hope you're proud. Your brother's wedding is ruined. I might lose my job, and for what? You're alive, aren't you? This is the thanks I get for taking care of you all these years." I deleted it, but I'd already forwarded it to Sarah. 2 weeks later, Monday, September 4th, we had the APS hearing. It was held in a county administrative hearing room. Fluorescent lights, a long table, a judge at the front. My mom showed up with her own lawyer. She wouldn't look at me. I was sworn in. My hands were shaking as I placed them on the Bible. I walked through the timeline. I presented the evidence. Appointment records, text messages, the Venmo transfer. My mom's lawyer cross-examined me. "Isn't it true that you and your mother had a difficult relationship?" I looked him in the eye. "She tried to let me die so my brother could have a nice vacation." "I'd say that's difficult." Dr. Patel, my nephrologist, testified next. "Missing 1 dialysis appointment is dangerous. Missing 8 over 6 weeks is life-threatening. This wasn't an accident or a misunderstanding. This was a pattern of willful neglect." Rachel testified about the phone calls. The warnings. The notes she'd made in my chart. Then it was my mom's turn. Her lawyer tried to frame it as a mistake in judgment. My mom took the stand. I thought Maya could wait a few days. I didn't know it was that serious. Sarah stood up for rebuttal. She presented the evidence of the 4 phone calls from the dialysis center. The explicit warnings. Then she pulled up the Venmo transfer on a screen for everyone to see. $4,200. Bora Bora, here we come. Sarah let it hang in the air. This wasn't a mistake, Your Honor. This was a choice. The judge looked at my mother with something close to disgust. I've presided over many cases of parental neglect, but this is one of the most callous I've encountered. You gambled with your daughter's life for a luxury vacation. He ruled immediately. Permanent guardianship revoked. Restraining order, 500 feet. Criminal referral to the district attorney for dependent adult abuse, medical neglect, and financial exploitation. My mom stood up screaming. She's my daughter. I have rights. The judge didn't raise his voice. You forfeited those rights when you prioritized a honeymoon over her life. We're done here. Security escorted her out. In the parking lot, despite the restraining order, my mom followed us. She got in my face. You've taken everything from me. I'll make sure you get nothing from Grandma's estate. Nothing. Sarah stepped between us. Mrs. Chen, you're in violation of a restraining order. Leave now or I'm calling the police. My mom left, but her words echoed in my head. The estate. I'd almost forgotten about Grandma Rose's will. The next week, I got a call from a lawyer named James Patterson. He was handling Grandma Rose's estate. Ms. Chen, I apologize for the delay in reading the will. Your mother had been preventing this meeting from happening. Are you available to come in? I can now, I said. She's not my guardian anymore. The reading was scheduled for September 25th. I walked into the law office that afternoon. Mahogany furniture? Soft lighting. It felt surreal. My mom was there with her lawyer. Derek was there with Brittany. No one spoke to me. James Patterson opened the will. Grandma Rose's estate was valued at $1.2 million. The family farm, $800,000. Investment accounts, $300,000. Personal property and savings, $100,000. James read the initial distribution. My mom, the family home, worth $200,000 plus $50,000 in cash. Derek, $100,000 cash. Maya, everything else. The farm, the investments, the remainder. Derek stood up. This isn't fair. I'm the oldest. Maya's getting everything. James held up a hand. Please sit down. I'm not finished. He pulled out a separate document. A letter dated 1 week before Grandma Rose died. There's a condition clause I need to read. The room went silent. James read Grandma Rose's words aloud. If at the time of my death or in the year following, any of my children or grandchildren are found to have neglected, abused, or financially exploited another family member, their inheritance is forfeit and will be added to the victim's portion. I will not reward cruelty. Families should protect each other. I stopped breathing. James continued. I've been provided with the court findings from the APS case. The guardianship revocation and the pending criminal charges constitute a finding of abuse and neglect under the terms of this clause. He looked at my mother. Your inheritance is forfeit. The $250,000 allocated to you will be transferred to Maya. The new distribution. Mom, $0. Derek, $100,000. Maya, $1.1 million. My mom's face went white, then red, then she screamed. No, this is my inheritance. My mother left that to me. James's voice was calm. Your mother-in-law left it with conditions. You violated them. My mom turned on me. You planned this. You got yourself sick on purpose to steal my inheritance. Even Derek looked shocked. Mom, she's been planning this since Rose died. She manipulated everyone. James stood. Mrs. Chen, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Security escorted her out. Again. I sat there in shock. The farm, 200 acres. The farmhouse where Grandma Rose lived. The barn, the fields. It was mine, all of it. 3 months later, I moved into the farmhouse. It's 90 minutes from the city. Far from my dialysis center, but I don't care. I drive myself now. 3 times a week I make the drive, and it's worth it. The first night I spent in that house, I sat on the porch and listened to the silence. No machines. No monitors. Just wind in the trees. I set up my bedroom overlooking the fields Grandma Rose loved. I hung photos of us together. I put her crossword puzzles on the nightstand. I found a box in the barn with my name on it. Inside were letters. Letters Grandma Rose had written to me over the years but never sent. The last one was dated 1 day before she died. My darling Maya, I know your mother doesn't see your worth. I know Derek gets the praise while you get overlooked. But I see you. I see your strength, your resilience, your beautiful heart despite everything. This farm was where I found peace when life was hard. I want it to be that for you. I want you to have a place where no one can take away your safety, your health, or your dignity. You deserve to be protected. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to wake up every morning knowing you matter. The farm is yours. The money is yours. Use it to build a life where you never have to depend on people who don't value you. I love you. I believe in you. And I'm so proud of you. Forever, Grandma Rose. I cried for an hour. She'd known. Maybe not the specifics, but she'd known the dynamic. She'd set up that clause years ago. She'd protected me even after she was gone. My mom took a plea deal. 2 years probation. Mandatory counseling. Restitution of $8,400. She lost her job. Derek and Brittany got married in November. They had to scale back to a local venue. I wasn't invited. I didn't care. I'm on the transplant list. My improved stability moved me up. There's hope now. The farm generates $2,400 a month in lease income. Combined with the investments, I have financial security for the first time in my adult life. I've started planning a community garden on part of the property, a place where people going through hard times can find peace, maybe dialysis patients who need a quiet place to recover. Last week, it snowed for the first time this winter. I walked out to Grandma Rose's rose garden. It's dormant now, but I planted a new bush in the fall. Pink, her favorite color. The tag said, "Survivor, thrives in difficult conditions." I stood there in the snow and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not hope that my family would change or apologize or suddenly see my value. Hope that I could build a life without them. Hope that Grandma Rose's gift would let me not just survive, but actually live. People ask me if I regret what happened. If I wish I'd stayed quiet, kept the peace, let it go. The answer is no, because staying quiet would have meant dying. Literally and figuratively. My mother made a choice. She chose money over my life. She chose appearances over my survival. And when the consequences came, she blamed me for exposing her, not herself for doing it. The inheritance wasn't revenge. It was my grandmother protecting me from beyond the grave. She knew I'd need it. She was right. I learned that family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up when you're vulnerable. Who values your life? Who protects you? Rachel still visits once a month. Linda became a real friend. Sarah helped me set up a trust for future medical expenses. They're more family to me than the people who share my DNA. I learned that speaking up, even when it destroys relationships, even when it makes you the villain in someone else's story, is sometimes the only way to survive. I'm not the sick daughter anymore. Not the burden. Not the inconvenience. I'm Maya. I own a farm. I'm building a life, and I'm doing it on my terms. If you've ever been in a situation where family put their wants over your needs, where you had to choose between keeping the peace and protecting yourself, I see you. You're not alone. Have you ever had to cut off family for your own survival? How did you handle it? Share your story in the comments. And if this resonated with you, hit subscribe for more real-life stories of resilience and justice. Remember, you don't owe anyone access to you at the cost of your safety. Not even family. Especially not family. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves.